I'm 15 years old and I look at the world around me. Believe it or not, I still see discrimination towards women. Simple rights held from them, like being able to choose their own path in life. Not just across the planet, but closer to home, here in Australia. This is supposed to be surprising. It's 2015, people. New times call for new measures. And that means equality is stepping in. I want my granddaughters to be able to live in a world where there's equality and social norm. That discrimination of all women has been abolished and equal rights of all human beings is just a way of life. While I was doing my research on this topic, I asked my brother what did he think of when I said women's equality. He responded straight away was, "Why do we have mannequins? Why don't we have woo mannequins?" He just said he simply doesn't get it. After thanking him for his insight, which wasn't very helpful, thanks mate, I got on with it myself. While we may think that this is a futuristic idea, researchers at the University of Western Australia have been studying the bones of Viking warriors and made a surprising discovery that women were included. Viking women weren't treated as unintelligent beings, but were respected as equals in their society. There have been other cultures who have been valuing their women, such as the American Indians. Their women were seen as assets and were able to make their own decisions in who they married and even had the option to kick their man out if he wasn't pulling his weight. Women in the same time from my culture weren't treated as kindly as them in history. Women's equality has mainly only came forward in the last century due to the global events of World War I and World War II, where women were encouraged to join the war effort, to do their bit for the war. They even respected for doing the jobs well, and some choose to do it to work or train for their careers. They've had to fight for equal wages as their males counterparts. And it's thanks to them that I can expect to enter a workforce myself and be paid equally as a male. Now, some of the main issues facing modern women are the division of domestic labor. A recent study shows that 8 out of 10 women say that they do more housework than men. Working women are still fighting for a social norm of women being responsible for looking after their house and children. A messy household is seen to be the woman's fault, not the man's. This is a leftover attitude from the last century that still needs to improve. Governments do provide incentives to encourage women back into the workplace after having children, such as childcare rebate, but the problem is with the attitudes of society, not the financial issues families face. Media, magazines, the internet, and film all portray the need for women to be attractive. They put pressure on women to be skinnier, fitter, suntanned, and have youthful skin. This pressure extends down to young girls and teenagers, causing mental and medical issues. with 70% of girls saying they want to be skinnier. Equality also means being free to be yourself and not have to deal with pressure to be something you're not. This is another attitude of our society that needs to be addressed and make positive steps towards change happening. Domestic violence. The World Health Organization reports that 35% of women worldwide experiences sexual abuse from their partner, and 38% of women murdered globally are killed by their partner. This issue has been in the news in Australia recently, and womensagenda.com.au recently reported that there are 2 deaths every week here in Australia due to domestic violence. Did those women have equal rights in their own homes? Again, it comes down to the attitude of their partner. They don't see their partners as equals. Pay rate. Gender pay group, the Workplace Gender Equality Agency, that has, of March 2014, the average wage of a full-time working woman is $1,270.30, while the average for a man was $1,532.80. That's a gap of $262.50. The gap is closing over time, but women have the issue of children and career to consider, while men are free to choose a career and not have to interrupt or put on hold for children. This is an issue that may not be able to resolve itself until scientists find a way for men to do the hard yards and carry a baby for 9 months. And would we love to see that in our lifetime, ladies? I like to think back to what I learnt about my great-great-grandmother's generation, when women weren't allowed to work. Then in my great-grandmother's generation after the World War II, where women were allowed to work but still expected to be perfect housewives when they had kids. The next generation of my nans is where women were becoming more accomplished, starting to work a lot more and have more career options. Now in my mum's and my own generation, women are a lot more equal in the business world, public world, and even at home. This development in changing both women's rights in the workplace and the attitude towards them has come from hard-won battles by the predecessors against discrimination and accepted social norms. Now is not the time to get comfortable ourselves with the luxuries of the equality we enjoy in our own little circles. But we need to continue the work already done to change attitudes and make sure that women all over our country and all over the globe get to enjoy some of the same luxuries. So much has been achieved. In the last century, we can achieve even more in the next and make our world even a better place. I'd like to finish my talk with a quote from my unknown source. Gender equality is not a woman's issue. It's a human issue. It affects us all. Thank you.